This is the way it was before, is things that were bright just made light. It's flat, it doesn't show off normal maps, and it doesn't have color. What I did is I added both directionality to it and color to it. And these are both done with screen space stuff, so even though it works, it's got problems. And like I said, this is on low, but you can see it shows off the texture more. You get something that has more texture to it. There you go. And before we had this sort of directionality coming from the handheld torchlight, but it wasn't coming from placed torches, and now it comes from placed torches as well, which is nice. And we can see they've got this color, but it's got, the colorness has problems because it's a screen space effect. I'm going to replace that with full 3D tracing of light, like voxel lighting, and that'll be better. So this is just kind of a stand-in to have it here, because it looks a lot better than not having it, and it pretty much doesn't take performance. Like I said, this is on low. Let me show you the data it's actually dealing with, which is why it kind of glitches out sometimes. Is I'm taking the positions of where the lights are on the screen, and then it's kind of blending the colors and stuff to kind of figure out what's the most dominant light in that area. White is where it's more like just like everything. And that's why it's kind of like blending between things. But it's not great. But still, it's better than nothing, I think, because you actually get a sense. But you can turn it off. You know, like I think by default it's off, but I think that's much better than not having it. Here it is off. Yeah, it's a big difference. It also feeds into the path tracing really well. So if we were to go on something really high, it does a good job with that. And it really kind of emphasizes the environments really well. Like I think that's a nice shot right there. And early this month, I also added some changes. High might actually look better than Ultra, I think. Now that it's got all this, because this really gives so much more detail to the textures, and you can see it responds to the changes in the brightness too, and the colors. So it's kind of really good. Like I really like it. But when this, like I said, when this does actual 3D voxel lighting instead of it just being screen spaced, it's going to be a lot better. Another thing I added this month, I think, was not only this new high setting, which still gets 60 FPS now, but this new low setting. And what it does is by default, it uses this new little menu thing I put in quick performance, which is basic reflections only, reflection cutoff. What this does is if you turn it to 2, it only reflects on highly reflective things that are more than 70% here. It's a default. And on water. If you put it on 1, it still does path tracing for every pixel, but it only does like 2 rays instead of like 50. So if I do that, we'll still get some off-screen lighting and some shimmer and stuff, but it's a little bit overly shiny since it's only got 2 rays and it's not enough rays to really kind of get soft materials to look right. And then 0 goes back to regular path tracing. It scatters multiple rays, but on low it's not doing that with a lot of rays. so it's not going to look that great. And again, you can see where the screen space torchlight has issues. It's better than nothing, and it's defaulted off. Like I said, it's in testing. It's also going to be in PBR light and glowing stuff, anti-block light. I would just leave this at 2. That's where I was experimenting with some different ways, and this also either at 2 or off. And this here says what it does, but if we turn this down, we will get color based on the brightness of it too, not just the never mind. Here's Ultra, which is running at a snail's pace and kind of requires lossless scaling at this point. And Cinematic is close to Ultra just about, but it does the new experimental changes to like light fall off and intensity, and it also does not use the default sky coloration at all for ray tracing the sky. It 100% applies on the 360 environmental capture, but I think it adds a nice feel. But again, all of this stuff like the colored lighting and the 360 capture kind of require live updates of the off-screen stuff. Right now it just captures what's off-screen when you look at it, except for the sky is live updates. So when I do 3D, like a full 3D voxel capture off-screen later this month, that's going to fix that and make that look a lot better.